Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Wednesday, December 14th, 2016, and here are some of today's trends in the news. What a difference a day makes. Hey, remember yesterday everything was up? Today, everything but Nikkei and Hang Seng that are hanging a little higher, everything is down. Gold's down, market's down, oil's down in Europe. How come? You know why. Today was the big day everyone was waiting for. That's right, the Federal Reserve finished its 2-day meeting, and then they made the announcement. Dun, da, da, da. Raised interest rates 25 basis points. That's right, for the second time in 10 years. Whoa. And what they said, what's really shaking the markets up, is that it looks like they're going to raise them again. Possibly, they foresee 3 rate hikes in 2017. So let's go back a year ago, exactly a year ago, when the Fed raised rates 25 basis points for the first time in over 9 years. Yeah. They said they were going to raise them, or foresaw raising them, 4 times in 2016. So in a year, they never raised them. They're raising them now. This is the end of the year, their year. So that's what they've done. So now they put that fear back in the gold market, of course, and the equities are going down. So as these rates rise, what's it going to do to housing? What's it going to do to the auto industry? U.S. retail sales barely rose in November as households cut back on purchases of motor vehicles. Now, with rates going up, are they going to cut back more? And again, go back to housing. Who's it going to hurt? It's going to hurt a lot of people. Debt load's going to go up on corporations. But we're still optimistic about the economy because today you got your trend alert. Trend alert. Trump stock market boom. Real or fleeting? What's next? So, we say what we think is going to happen next. We'll see what happens. But again, these rates are an issue. And again, I talked about retail sales, very important, because the Commerce Department also said that October retail sales were revised downward to show a 0.6% increase instead of a previously reported 0.8% increase. Not a lot, but a little. Overall, again, we think it's going to be a better year next year economically than this year. And as I've been saying about gold, gold went down on the news that they are foreseeing 3 more rate rises. So the higher the rates go, the more people invest in interest-bearing investments, which gold does not give you. However, as interest rates go up, we start seeing a lot of problems going on over there in China and in other countries that are susceptible to higher interest rates. With their money outflows, currencies declining, and that's why we still hold gold as a safe haven asset, particularly in these days when you never know what the governments are going to do, like they did in India, like what's going on now in Venezuela with panic on the streets as they're calling in currencies. You don't know what's going to happen, so it's that safe haven asset. As for oil prices, well, today they went down nearly 4% on renewed concerns about an oil glut sparked by rising U.S. crude inventories. No kidding. And once the prices are at this level, you're going to see more rigs going out there and more supply coming on. So, when we look at the strong dollar, you read what it means. Strong dollar threatens trade deficit plans. The U.S. can weather currency strength much better than many other major economies because of the relatively small role exports play in the economy. Thanks to Bill Clinton, George Bush Sr., who got it going, NAFTA, and all the other trade deals, because American exports play such a small role in the economy. But that does not change the fact that the strong dollar would make Mr. Trump's stated goal of attracting manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. more difficult and hurt U.S. competitiveness. Here we go. Heat is on dollar-pegged currencies. How long have we been talking about this? Probably longer than most. The dollar's stellar rise has rippled across international markets and, in addition to pressuring currency pegs, has prodded investors to pull money out of emerging market funds. In November, investors withdrew $24.2 billion from emerging markets, which are often borrowed in dollars, and get squeezed when the currency rallies. Globally, one of the questions is whether the world can live with higher U.S. interest rates and a stronger dollar, or will it cause financial stress elsewhere, says Eric Lundgren, fund manager at M&G Investments, which we've been saying now for how long? So, these are the issues, and it goes back to gold. I'm reading to you what other people are saying, confirming what we've been long saying. And when you hear a statement like globally, one of the questions is whether the world can live with higher rates. And will it cause financial stress elsewhere? So, there you got it with the economy. So moving on to some other economic news of a different nature, but again, remember one of our top trends for 2017? Buy, sell, China. Top talent agency hangs shingle in China. Hollywood's biggest talent agency is putting down roots in China. The story goes on. And then you look back a little further here. Chinese-backed startup takes aim at Tesla. That's right. Lucid Motors represents the latest attempt by automakers backed by China money, including U.S. startups, Faraday Future, and Karma Automotive, to crack the U.S. auto market. Lucid, based in Menlo Park, California, said it raised more than $200 million from investors. The company plans to offer its sedan first in the U.S., followed by China and Europe. So you can see where all this is going. Buy and sell China. There's not going to be a trade war, is our forecast. There'll be trade deals. Marijuana proposal issued in Canada, and when you read it, not a good one. Quote, the government doesn't want to have a country consuming marijuana, said Bruce Linton, chairman and chief executive of Canopy Growth, which owns Tweed, one of the 36 companies currently allowed to grow and sell medical marijuana. They want a system for those who choose to consume it. He goes on to say, under the proposed system, householders could own up to 4 plants, none taller than 1 meter or about 3.3 feet. Who makes up this crap? What kind of morons? What kind of arrogant little people, political jerks, make up this crap? Hey, don't forget to vote. The panel also recommended maintaining stiff penalties against illegal sales. You losers. You're a bunch of losers. Speaking of which, 4-year battle for Aleppo ends in defeat for Syrian rebels. Yes, destroy the place. Syrian rebels, the ones that we gave, or they took our money, $1 billion, $500 million twice. to support these moderate rebels, and now they lost. But don't worry, the United States will fund them and they'll fight somewhere else and murder more, but maybe not under Trump. U.S. concerned about casualties in Yemen block arms sales to Saudi Arabia. They didn't block all of them, just a little bit. The administration's decision was a setback for Raytheon, which officials say pushed hard for approval of the sale. Meanwhile, the United States still supplies them with arms, reconnaissance, and refueling. Human rights organizations have sharply criticized American support for the Saudi bombing in Yemen and said blocking the arms sale was not enough. The absence of a more comprehensive ban, given the ongoing unlawful strikes and the potential U.S. complicity, is deeply concerning, said Sarah Morgan, Washington director at Human Rights Watch. And then you read this prostitute piece, it's a joke. Yeah. Yemen's conflict began in 2014 when the Houthis from the country's north, allied with rogue army units, stormed the capital, pushing the internationally recognized government into exile. Hey, what do you write this for? Little stupid kids? It was a corrupt government that they threw out, put in another guy that they didn't put anybody to run against them. They hated the guy. His term was up. He continued to want to run, but you only leave the facts out because you're prostitutes. Check this out. Last year, Saudi Arabia formed a military coalition that has been bombing the rebels, seeking to dislodge them from the capital and restore the government. Who the hell is Saudi Arabia to restore a puppet government that the people didn't want? It's their business, but not when you're the New York Slimes. War is their business, and boy, they love to sell it. And corruption, criminality, morality is at a low point in many places around the world. Protests hit Brazil as Senate votes for austerity measures. French former budget minister guilty of tax fraud, caught in the spiral of lies. Park got impeached over in South Korea last week. And now they brought up more charges in Brazil against Lula, the former president. Corruption's running deep everywhere. Where's morality? And as I mentioned, you read this article about Raytheon. Administration officials said that Raytheon's chief executive, Thomas A. Kennedy, personally lobbied Tony Blinken, the Deputy Secretary of State. Yeah, little Tony Blinken. I remember this guy shooting his mouth off when Saudi Arabia invaded Yemen, bragging. He was in Riyadh that the United States was supplying armaments, refueling, reconnaissance, and intelligence. That Anthony Blinken. He also reached out to Secretary of State John Kerry and Susan Rice, the National Security Advisor, to sell weapons. It's just what Eisenhower warned us about. The military-industrial complex, robbing the nation of the genius of the scientists, the sweat of the laborers, and the future of the children. Instead, we got B.S. Blinken and all the other losers. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.